At this point, we only have 24 hours until our first drift event. So 3 months ago, we tore this 335D apart to start building it into a drift car. And I was crazy enough to buy a season opener ticket for the drift event that's happening this weekend. And the car hasn't even started yet. I haven't built the exhaust, and I still don't have a drive shaft. We need to finish this build now. So before we start building the exhaust, we need to get the rear bumper on, and before that, we're gonna get the rear jack point on. This is gonna go in between the crash bar and the body, and we did have to modify that. It technically doesn't fit a 335 that would have the dual exit exhaust hangers, so we did have to cut those off the crash bar so that the jack point can go on there, and then we can use the factory crash bar. And the rear jack point, really, this is for just making tire changes easier at the track or diagnosing problems. We can go simply to the rear jack point and be able to lift up the rear of the car. And then we're able to put the 328 bumper that we found at the junkyard that's in the same color as our car, and that's going to give us the single exit bumper so that we can build the exhaust coming out that one side. At this point, it's about 48 hours before we're trying to leave for the drift event, and while we're waiting on the drive shaft, I can still build the exhaust. So I'm going to build a full custom exhaust from the downpipe back. I did use 3-inch stainless steel exhaust, and I really wanted to TIG weld it, but I ran out of time, don't have a TIG welder, so I ended up MIG welding it. In the time crunch that we had, it came out really good. I was able to do it with a simple 3-inch stainless steel kit that had mandrel bends and U-bends and a couple of 45s, and able to build that out all the way out the back with some exhaust hangers and one V-band in the middle, so that it's super easy to pull the diff section down if I ever had to do an axle or a diff or pull the rear subframe. I don't have to pull the entire exhaust. So with building that exhaust, I'm doing it with very basic tools. So I got a Sawzall, an angle grinder, and a tape measure, and of course the welder. I had help holding that up, and then I was able to measure pipe and be able to tack weld that on the car so that I can continue working it, holding it up there so that I can tack that, and then I would pull off the car and fully weld that up. So if you watch our last video, you know that we don't have enough space for the hydro line to come through. It would run into our drive shaft, which, by the way, we still don't have. So we're going to redo that setup. So I pulled out the old setup, which was a soft line coming off the hydro into a 90-degree fitting that was going through the floor. And I replaced that with a one-piece hard line that went to the hydro, and then did a zigzag through the floor through a rubber grommet to protect the line, and then goes back to the rear subframe where the soft line goes to the hydro lines that are on the subframe. So at this point, we have 24 hours until the drift event, and we still don't have a drive shaft, but we can at least get the car started and make sure that it runs good. So before we start it, we need to code the car and tell it that it now has a manual transmission instead of an automatic, so that it can look for the clutch pedal to be able to send signal to the starter and then start the car. And then our first attempt of starting it, we didn't have signal to the starter. Had to do a little bit of diagnosis to figure out why that was the case, because we had a crank no start situation. And I could get it to crank if I had a remote starter solenoid, but for some reason the DDE was not telling the starter to crank. So I did a little research and deep dived into wiring diagrams comparing the 335D to the 330D overseas, and I was able to find out that I put the clutch signal wire in the wrong pin for the DDE, so I swapped that around and was able to get the clutch signal wire to talk to the DDE and be able to get it to crank with the clutch engaged. It's still not starting. And with having the engine out of this, I had the entire fuel system apart, and I also put in a new fuel filter as preventative maintenance. So I remembered that I had to prime the fuel system. So I had the DDE prime the fuel system, at least the low pressure side, to be able to get all the air out of that. But even after doing that a couple times, it still wouldn't start.
I don't have any high pressure fuel pump pressure.
At this point, it's really late. I'm discouraged. I need sleep. I'm going to go do some research and come in the next day with fresh eyes and try and figure it out. So it's the next morning, which is the day that we're supposed to be leaving for the drift event. And based on my research, reading through the forums and talking with more experienced guys, it seems that I need to prime it a few more times and also crank for longer. I wasn't cranking for long enough. I didn't want to burn up my starter, but I need to let the engine crank and to build that high pressure fuel system up with pressure so that it would start. Finally got it to start after cranking for a long time. It was super relieving. I was really stressed that this car wouldn't be able to make it, that I messed something up. I mean, I had this car down, as you guys saw. I mean, it had no interior, it had no suspension, no drivetrain. I was really scared that I messed something up, even though I'm very thorough and try and do everything to the book. And once I got it to fire over and crank, the relief that I felt, the weight off my shoulders was immense. So now that the car runs, we have 6 hours until the drift event, and we still don't have a drive shaft. So in the time that I'm waiting, I'm going to jump over to the Fox body, which is kind of my plan B, that if the 335D doesn't make the drift event, at least I'm taking one of my cars and be able to use that ticket. So I had to fix some things from last season on that, get the fluids changed. So I'm going to hop over to that and get some stuff done on that. So we're down to the wire, and I have 2 hours until we're supposed to be leaving for this drift event. And I finally get a call from the drive shaft shop that my drive shaft is ready for pickup. So we went and grabbed that, got it installed. I was really worried it wouldn't fit. Didn't have a great experience getting this drive shaft made or the end result of it. So I was kind of worried that something got messed up. So I didn't grab a camera to show that. I was really scared getting that into the car, but thankfully everything did fit. So now we can finally drive it, and we have an hour until I want to leave for the drift event, and we can finally take it for a first test drive. She rubs a little bit. On the first drive, the engine felt really good. The tune is really nice. It makes good power. The clutch felt really good. The transmission was in good shape. It was shifting through all the gears. But with the ride height that I had and wanted to run on the car, it was rubbing everywhere. The front was rubbing, the rear was rubbing. Every time I get on throttle, the rear would rub more. And there were some vibrations that were pretty concerning. I thought that the drive shaft was bad. I had a lot of things that made me very worried about the car at this point. And I really don't have time for this. I need to be loading the car up on the trailer and heading out, but I can't drift it with just rubbing through tire. I'm going to cut the sidewall and it's going to ruin my day. So I need to change the ride height. And when you change the ride height, you have to redo the alignment because it's going to throw it all out of whack. Changing the ride height in the rear of this car is so much fun that I got to pull the rear control arms to do it fast and efficient, and got to redo the whole alignment, do camber, toe, front and back. So much fun. And I wanted the Wisefab for all the adjustment, and it has all the adjustment, but I'm down to the wire. I'm super frustrated. I'm stressed. And at this point, I really wish it was just a straight axle that didn't need any alignment, but we got it aligned. I do like all the adjustment. We were able to get it perfectly within spec of where we wanted it. So that's a good thing. So I need to take it for another test drive just to make sure that everything is good. At this point, we're 2 hours past when I wanted to leave. I was able to fix most of the rubbing issues, definitely fix the front. So when I turn, it's not rubbing when I hit a bump or anything like that. The rear, I can get on throttle without it rubbing all the time. Still kind of does rub if I hit a big bump or the car has a lot of roll to it. The springs in the rear are just too soft. So all that torque is just squatting the rear end and it's rubbing. I was still worried about the vibrations that I could feel near the trans area that I thought was the drive shaft, but my lovely wife reminded me that I'm running stiffer trans mount bushings. So drawback to that is you have more vibrations coming into the car. So they're stronger and they're better for the shifter assembly that I have, but the vibrations coming through just had me concerned at the beginning. So I think we're as ready as we're going to get for the drift event. Still need to wash it. There's an inch of dirt on this thing from sitting in the shop for this month, and I'm not going to take it to the drift event like that. So my lovely wife washed it for me so that I could get the Mustang finished and that we could get both cars loaded up and take them to the drift event. So 4 hours late, we're finally on the road and heading to the drift event. I really wish I could have got more test miles on the car. I had less than 10 miles on the odometer, which is not a lot of break-in miles for the clutch. And I had one little slide in a parking lot just to make sure that it all worked. That's it. Loaded up on the trailer and we made it to the event and we're going to see how it does tomorrow.